Everyone, so I'll be taking a look at a homework problem, which is E8-17. In this problem, the learning objective is explaining and generalizing petty cash transactions. So I'll be going over this problem. So Jackie's Dance Studio created a $220 impressed petty cash fund. During the month, the fund custodian authorized and signed petty cash ticket as follows. If you look at the icon here, gives us the petty cash ticket one, delivery of programs to customers, delivery expense of $20. Petty cash two, ticket two is a mail package postage expense, $10. And petty cash ticket number three is newsletter. That is a printing expense with an amount of $25. Petty cash ticket number four is a key to closet, which is a miscellaneous expense, which is an amount of $40. And petty cash ticket number five, copier paper, office supply, with an amount of $70. So all of these listed are accounts debited, right? If you can see here, these are the accounts that will be debited and listed here for all of these petty cash things you'll be using. So the thing with this problem is it is not cost effective for a business to write a check for a taxi fare or delivery of a package across town, or as other things we've already seen here. If you look at some of the petty cash topics that we covered, right? You don't want to have to write a check for every mail package or newsletter printing expense that you do, a key to a closet. So to meet these needs and to streamline record keeping for small cash transactions, companies like to keep cash on hand to pay small amounts. This fund is called the petty cash fund. Cash is the most liquid of assets. As you may know, it's the most easiest to deal with, right? As opposed to writing checks, using your debit cards and all that, it's the most liquid of assets that you may have. A petty cash is more liquid than cash in the bank because none of the bank controls is in place. Therefore, petty cash needs controls such as the following. In this case, we'll designate a custodian of the petty cash fund. The custodian is the individual assigned responsibility for the petty cash fund. We'll also designate a specific amount of cash to be kept in the petty cash fund. And we also support all petty cash fund payments with a petty cash ticket. These tickets are sequentially numbered. The petty cash ticket serves as an authorization voucher and explanation, as we see here, right? We have the item explanation, the accounts that will be debited, the ticket numbers, and the amounts listed here. Okay, so requirement one, make the general journal entry to create the petty cash fund, include an explanation. The only time an entry is made to the petty cash account is when the fund is established or when the fund is increased or decreased. The petty cash fund is opened when the company writes a check for the designated amount. The company makes the check payable to petty cash, cashes the check, and places the cash in the petty cash box. The entry will increase the petty cash account and decrease the cash account. Here is the entry I have listed here. I will put that in here. It's a debit in petty cash of 220 and a credit of cash of 220, as I just explained earlier. The explanation for this is the fact that we're opening a petty cash fund. Oh, sorry, that's up here. So make sure you go to the top. Petty cash fund, credit cash, 220. And always have your explanations. Don't forget that. Should be at the bottom, I think, right here. To open the petty cash fund, as I just explained. So that should be correct. I'll be going down here. Okay, so requirement two, if you read that, right, make the general journal entry to record the petty cash fund replenishment. Cash in the fund totals $40, include an explanation. So we're recording the debits first, then the credits. Select the explanation on the last line of the journal entry table. So as you remember, right, the sum of the cash plus the total value of the tickets should equal the fund balance at all times. If the sum exceeds the fund balance, there is a cash overage. If the sum is less than the cash balance, there's a cash shortage. So I'll be using the table here, which is not in your homework, just to show you how to determine the cash overage or shortage, right? Normally the fund balance is $20. Cash on hand, as it's listed here, is $40 right there. If we look at the tickets, right, all listed here. If I try to add that up, I'll take a calculator, add those amounts, 20 plus 10 plus 25 plus 40 plus 70. That's 165. You see there. Total accounted for tickets are 205, right? Looks like we have an overage of cash. So this is the list here, right? Amount of cash missing or cash overage is $15. So payments decrease cash in the fund. So periodically the fund must be replenished. To replenish the petty cash fund, you need to bring the cash on hand up to $220, which is the balance. As we already know, the cash on hand amounts to $40, and we try to replenish that. It should be 220 minus 40. The petty cash tickets tell me what to debit, and I'll show you the journal entries that will go into that. To replenish the fund, we must debit delivery expense, as we see here, $20. Debit the postage expense for $20, and so on, as you see here. That's going to be the journal entry below. But from the calculation, the preceding step, there was a $15 cash shortage for the period, right? The total cash accounted for was less than the fund balance by $15. For this situation, we need a debit to make the journal entry balance a loss, which is credited to cash short and over account, as we see here, right? $15 is debited because of the shortage. So these are the listed amounts that you see in the table here. I'll list that as debits, right? Delivery expense, postage expense. You can see them side by side. I have the cash short and over 15 and the credit of 180 to replenish the petty cash fund. So I'll be putting that in here. Delivery expense 20. Postage expense printing expense 25. Miscellaneous expense 40. Office supplies 70. Here, cash short and over, right? 15, as we already covered. And to replenish the cash, right? Credit cash. Use our cash to replenish the petty cash fund. That will be the explanation down here. Replenish the petty cash fund. So requirement 3 states that assume that Jackie's Dance Studio decides to decrease the petty cash fund to $220. Make the journal entry to record the decrease. So the entry is the reverse of the entry to create the fund. If you remember from the top right, it was a debit in petty cash and a credit in cash. In this case, it's going to be a debit in cash and a credit in petty cash. So see the differences, complete opposites. The entry will increase the cash account and decrease the petty cash account by the amount of the decrease in the fund balance. So the previous balance was 220, the new balance is 120. I'll subtract that amount. The difference will be 100, right? That's the amount of decrease. That's why there's 100 listed here. I will record the debits first, then the credits, and then select my explanation. So I'll go cash 100, and then I'll credit petty cash 100 to decrease petty cash fund. Okay, so that concludes the video. Thank you for watching. Hope all of you take notes on this. I want everyone to know this problem for this chapter. Focus on this problem. This is a pretty significant problem. Thank you for watching and hope to see you in class soon.